Namaste and Siddhi Pranam. I warmly welcome you to your Prenatal Yoga Teachers Training course. I firmly believe that this is going to be a transformative course, not just for you, but for myself as well. Because together, we are going to delve deep into the sacred art of guiding mothers on their yogic journey while they're on their journey of pregnancy and childbirth. So let's explore the essence of this course and your profound role in aiding this transformative experience for the mothers. So this special course is designed to make a difference. The main purpose here is to help expectant mothers navigate through their pregnancy and childbirth with the wisdom of ancient yogic teaching. You can imagine it as a journey where moms and their babies are going to embark on a transformative experience with you, with the yogi that you are. And you are going to guide them onto their inner journey. And your role as a yoga teacher is not just about downloading all the details from the course into your mind. It is about understanding how to serve mothers with kindness and compassion. And as you will step into the role of a yoga teacher, prenatal yoga teacher, keeping in mind that even if you can't recall every detail from this course, in real life situation, having a compassionate heart will guide you through. It's also important that you practice every kriya and every asana and every other yogic practice given in the course through an eye of a pregnant mother. Imagining that you are pregnant yourself, and how would you feel while practicing this kriya or yogic practice? So truly putting yourself into the shoes of the pregnant woman each and every step of the way is the key to unlock the real treasure of this course. And this personal connection that you will develop with the pregnant women inside your mind through this journey will help you embrace and understand the experience of a mother or a would-be mother much better. Throughout this course, we'll explore the parallels between a mother journey and a yogi, making it easier for you to really understand what it means for a mother to step into the shoes of a yogini or yogi. How a journey of a yogi can be much similar to that of a mother and vice versa. Can the yogic intensity or the experiences that a yogi goes through compared to that of a mother's journey? Every tough time, every sacrifice that a mother has to go through, similar to a yogi has to go through on the path of a lifeline. So, our ultimate aim is to make a positive impact on mothers and the new generation that is going to come and bring forth peace and wisdom through the timeless teachings of yoga. And I truly believe with the divine grace, with the help of the creation, that this knowledge and wisdom that divine and the nature is going to impart through me to you, together we can create a new generation which will bring more kindness and compassion to the planet. If you see your role as a prenatal yoga teacher of someone guiding and opening pathways for new generations to be that of yogic wisdom, bringing in more light and love to the planet. If you suit yourself into this role, if you truly engage into this inner work where you see yourself as a vessel for the divine, a facilitator for nature, to lead the journey in oneness into union, which is yoga, for not just for yourself, but for the whole new generation that is going to come. And that would be the greatest service of all. So let's get ready for a journey where the ancient will meet modern, where you will learn to support mothers on their incredible path to a yogic mother. So now, we will talk about how birthing can be a sacred journey. So when we consider birthing as a sacred journey, we really need to see birthing as a complete yogic sadhana in itself. It is just like when a yogi goes on a path of yogic sadhana or austerities or so many various practices that yoga has done over the ages. When a yogi chooses one of the yogic path for himself or herself and chooses to walk on it, similarly, this is a path that a mother chooses for herself. And hence, it is an opportunity to perfect the art of tapasya, to persevere through discomfort and pain with grace and dignity, just like a yogi. So, to truly master this art, one must be able to let go of attachment and expectations and surrender to the process. This is so true not just for mothers, but also for the yogis and vice versa. For a mother to be able to birth a child, she has the key here, that is surrender. She has to surrender to the nature, to the true knowingness in her body that it knows how to birth. And that is where the real surrender happens. And hence there are so many paths that they're going to be stepping stones in her journey, where she has to constantly let go of attachment and expectations. So is the key for a yogi also. The key is to remember here that the goal is not to get through the experience of this pregnancy and childbirth unscathed, but to emerge from it transformed, just like for a yogi. So pregnancy and childbirth are a time to go within, to connect to the deepest wisdom and power, and to trust, and to surrender. A mother must trust her body to know how to grow and birth a baby. A mother must trust her body to know how to grow and birth a baby. She has to trust the process, even when it's challenging. And she must trust herself to be able to handle whatever comes her way. When she can do this, she can open up the possibility for truly transformational experience that will leave her changed forever. She also set herself for success in motherhood because she will have learned how to face challenges with grace and equanimity. So our job as teachers, mentors, guides, or friends is to serve the would-be mothers in the highest honor and to remind them that they are embarking on a sacred journey. They are stepping onto a beautiful sacred journey. And it is an opportunity to go within, to connect with their deepest wisdom and to trust, to tap into their most inner core strength and let go of any consciousness and hence surrender to the process and emerge transformed. Now, let's discuss that how journey of motherhood and pregnancy is a very, very patient path. So the pain of the childbirth is an experience so intense that only mothers who have gone through it can really imagine and really understand it. This patience required in the process of childbirth can be metaphorically compared to that of a guru. A guru requires most patience to lead his or her disciples towards the light after they have been in darkness for lifetimes. So even if it is waiting patiently until their paths are ready, if that means that they are ready to receive the wisdom, and that can even at times take lifetimes for a disciple or student to be ready to go to the Guru. And similarly, a mother's love also extends to any extremity, even if that requires her to put her life at stake for her child. That is the kind of love and patience that she carries. Similar to that of a guru, willing to give anything for the disciple or the student to experience that inner wisdom, inner awakening. The mother's sacrifices and the patience with her children helps her guide the young children to joy and fulfillment. And even if that joy and fulfillment comes with a lot of her own personal sacrifices at the cost of immense amount of hardships that she's willing to give or do for the sake of her child. That is the nature of the mother. So when the birth of the child happens, this bodily experience that a mother goes through is no less than an enlightening spiritual experience that a guru or a master has. Because it's so intense in its very intrinsic nature that one cannot help but to come out transformed from this experience. And just like a guru in the initial stages of his or her path must have gone through their own inner sadhana with immense amount of self-discipline that they must have practiced on the way. This journey of being a mother comes with kind of natural self-discipline. Even if they don't want to be self-disciplined, they are enforced by the nature to come into discipline of many different kinds. Because the way it is designed, the whole process of birthing is designed, constantly is exude physically even certain hormones like oxytocins that pushes the mother to develop that compassion no matter if she doesn't want to. So a woman has two extremities at her disposal during childbirth. One side of extreme is extreme physical pain, and on another extreme there is a sense of pleasure that is going to happen when she's going to see her newborn. So to go through this cycle and bringing the new creation to the world is the great courageous act that she does. Yet, when this courageous process is dealt with a conscious awareness in mind, Just like there are different kinds of spiritual transformations even for the disciples. There are the ones who consciously walk onto a spiritual path. And there are others who are enforced by nature to come onto the spiritual path. Maybe some events happen or tragedy happens. So nature has its beautiful ways, and maybe you inside your body, just like I shared, different set of hormones would release, which will enforce the body to have a sense of love for the child. Similarly, one is enforcement by nature, and another is consciously developing those practices, which there are so many conscious mothers these days who practice so many different things so that they can be better mothers, so that they can teach their child higher wisdom, higher intellect, so many other things. So that I would call being consciously or walking on some path, or consciously making yourself ready for that day. So those spiritual practitioners or beings that ultimately blossom as gurus, at one point in time they consciously choose to walk on this yogic journey with lots of yamas and niyamas, or discipline at place. So if a mother, through your guidance maybe in future, hopefully, will consciously choose to be a yogini on this path and be more mindful during her journey of childbirth and pregnancy, then what will happen is that her idea of the pain that this process is, or the kind of difficulties that is she's going to go through this, she will start to perceive this entire experience of pregnancy and childbirth specifically as a pain that is going to convert itself into a blessing, just like blessing in disguise. And so there is a lot of mindset shift that can occur if she walks on this path consciously. Now there are many religions and spiritual paths in which many gurus and teachers have taught that they always perceive pain as a blessing in their journey, because that's what leads to transformation. That again comes to the fact that we can compare the journey of a mother willing to perceive the pain of the childbirth in the continuum to a blessing that would come her way. Similarly, just like a yogi or a guru or a master would see any pain or any episodic memory of a traumatic event as a blessing to learn, to grow, and to transform. So there is no wonder that all yogis and saints often regard the pain and the blessing, and the mother also does the same. Hence, the mother can only agree to the fact that the spiritual wisdom that is imparted to her in this journey to go through the process of trusting her body and giving birth to this new life. This is a miracle. Only when woman goes through the cycle, she realizes this. Similarly, just like a guru goes through so many austerities, so much of pain in the process, just to experience that enlightened day, then she knows that the whole process, she or he, the Guru knows, that the whole process was designed so magnificently by the nature, magically and miraculously by the nature, in its perfect order. And hence, that is the nectar of spiritual wisdom that the Guru gains. And that is similar to that of the mother. She comes out a very, very different being from this experience. And the next important thing is surrender. There are many scriptures who talks about complete surrender to the God as being one of the most vital accomplishments of a yogic path or a spiritual path. Hence, when a mother goes into labor, the first thing that she has to do is to let go of her fear and completely trust the divine force which is directing the passage of her baby to the earth. The mother's love for her child becomes so strong that even a question doesn't occur to her mind at that time. Why am I suffering so much? Why do I have to do this? Because she is mesmerized by the idea of seeing the little one, by the idea of meeting this new life. And at that time, her only goal in life becomes providing what the baby needs. Even if this means giving up oneself, herself, or submitting her soul into absolute servitude, all because someone else or something greater than herself requires her sacrifice at the moment. And this surrender, this attitude of servitude, this selflessness is much similar to that of a realized being. A realized being, an enlightened being that goes through a difficult journey of lifetimes to attain that ultimate state of enlightenment, knows that the key to this path or to see that enlightened day is selfless souls, is sense of deep compassion, deep love, surrender. All these attributes that a guru or a master has to see that day of self-realization. Somehow, the nature has gifted all these attributes to mother in a very, very natural sense. If she is willing to embrace this, she will know that these attributes that she are going to practice, these virtues that she is going to practice as a mother, at its best, in its enlarged level, it indeed takes her to the union with the divine. So this is her beginning into surrender, into selfless service, into an attitude of gratitude, into an attitude of servitude. This process of birthing and pregnancy can become her step to maybe fully enlighten one day. That wisdom can be gifted by you to her. That is the greatest gift of this process. Although we have discussed a lot already, but let's see that how it can also be a self-transformative path in itself. So all yogic texts speak about some kind of austerities or intense form of self-mortification that one has to practice in order to achieve ultimate experience. This is naturally imposed sadhana on a mother, I would say. Because during and after her pregnancy, as she goes through intense physical pain as well as mental and emotional suffering, each of her action is done by keeping in mind her body no longer belongs to her. That a reminder is constantly there, no matter whether she wants to remember it or not. But constantly it is being reminded naturally to her that she is containing another human being into her womb and who needs care from the start to the end of his or her lifetime. And that realization is kind of imposed onto her. That act of selfless service or thinking about the other first is kind of imposed sadhana onto her. Constant awareness of taking care of someone else first, thinking about someone else first. So the experience of childbirth has such an impact on mother's conscious and subconscious mind that even after many years later, she can still remember every detail of the birthing process from start to finish, while feeling transformed into someone new through the process. And you could talk to n number of mothers, and I believe that most of them, if not all, would say that. So, when we are waiting for those laborious 9 months, there is a period called nesting. Nesting period arrives, which is last few days just before birthing. And in the nesting period, what happens is there is a surge of energy that expels through the body of the mother, and she's compelled to clean the house from top to bottom and prepare for the arrival of the child, or manage things or organize things in advance that the new being is coming. And this energy informs her that the time has come soon to push out the little being out into the new world. The prana moves through the body of the mother in the manner that every effort of the body becomes concentrated towards expelling her child with all the mightiness into reality. So that powerful energy, the prana that it's expelling the force, comes with that natural pull or push. If we compare that surge of energy with that of a Kundalini energy, which is present in all beings. Kundalini energy is the energy which is sitting at the root of the earth of your spine, at the base of your spine. This energy, which is at the core of all yogic practices, the purpose of a yogi is to raise that Kundalini to the highest chakra. So there is no wonder that when the Kundalini energy has risen to its highest level, it raises the consciousness of the human being to the highest state. So just like a yogi, when a mother comes face to face with her pranic energies and she's kind of forced to do conscious breathing, and when comes the time that she has to push the child out from her abdomen, she can feel that intense sense of nervousness. This is because her muscles are being stretched and pulled from every side, And it can be difficult for her not only to release but also create fear of the well-being of her child at that time, so that the child comes safely. And that experience where the surge is expelling in itself, the entire energy is concentrated towards that. This whole experience, if she perceives this as that of an intensive yogic practice or intensive yogic experience that a yogi goes through, if you compare both of it, it's much similar. But there can be another way to add on to this is when a mother has consciously received the teachings, the ancient yogic teachings, she can begin to perceive that all the breathing that she has learned during this process of understanding and seeing mother, the journey of birthing from a yogic perspective, she can use that learning to her advantage to control the pranic energy for the right times. What she can learn from this ancient yogic teachings is that when is the right time to breathe strongly and when is to use the prana to calm down. So this is just the difference of consciously and unconsciously using the prana energy. So yogi is at a state where he or she is aware of that the Kundalini energy exists, of the fact that he or she is practicing to raise that energy within, and all the breathing practices, all the pranic practices is done by keeping in mind to consciously raise that energy. For a mother, it is naturally happening, but she's just not aware of this happening. What if you give that to her, that knowledge and wisdom of yogic teachings, and gift her the art of knowing for herself when to store the prana and when to use it to its optimum capacity to release the child out. Because the Kundalini energy that is acting in a yogi is what is acting in her to create also. So utilizing that is the greatest gift you and I can give to the mothers. Another important aspect of pregnancy and childbirth is overcoming fear, which is also a great aspect for a yogi or a guru. So, the greatest barrier to overcome in childbirth, I would say, would be just fear in so many dimensions and different aspects of it. So learning how one can vanquish their own innermost doubts and concerns that are going to occur during this journey of 9 months. It's a practice of letting go of fear. Is an everyday practice that would require dedication both from the mother as well as the child during the pregnancy, and till they become accustomed with the fact that this new life has to come out. Another important aspect of the journey of pregnancy and childbirth is overcoming fear, which can be our greatest barrier in the process of childbirth, and which can again be a greatest barrier in the spiritual journey of a yogi or a teacher. So learning how to vanquish their own innermost doubts and concerns for a mother can take maybe 9 months of training constantly, every single day, practicing with dedication, not just for herself, but reminding to the baby also. We both together are in this journey of letting go fear each day. Child also equally goes through emotions of mother. And if mother isn't here, the child is also going to experience that mother every single day, every single moment. Each concern, even if that is for the safety of the baby, arises in the mom's mind, it is going to go down to the baby. It is going to go to the psyche of the unborn child that has to experience a similar fear. So throughout the pregnancy, until they both become accustomed to themselves with the fact that this new life force is driving them forward like no other good thing do, hence surrendering to that life force, hence letting go of fear becomes the key aspect of this pregnancy and childbirth journey. Similarly, if we talk about the yogic path, there are yogic paths, especially that involves mantra practices, tantric practices, that involves specifically focusing just on overcoming fear. So in Tantra, it is said that the fear is the biggest obstacle in any spiritual path. And hence, among various practices to overcome fear, there is another very different, unique practice that many tantrics do, which is sitting and meditating at graveyards at the midnight to face the fear that is going to arise from within and overcome it eventually. And comparing and drawing parallels to the journey of a yogi and a mother constantly, hence seeing a yogi's journey and a mother's journey from the lens of the fear is also an important aspect, because this is very much the key in both the cases, in both the paths of the yogi and the mother. The tantric practice that I shared, I would like to mention, and that is mostly practiced by men in Tantra, but it really doesn't matter whether a yogi is yoging his or her. The point is, the fear is the key, and many practices in yoga also. There are other parts also which requires extensive practices to let go of all kind of fears. So there is one thing that is we can notice is that from the Tantra I remember just now, is that why just men go through this kind of very weird practices of sitting in graveyards and experiencing that fear. I can also say that, and that is just my opinion, is that they never get a chance to mentally, physically, and emotionally. Experience the pain that a mother goes through, or a woman goes through while childbirth. They don't naturally have that chance. It's almost impossible to exactly experience similar kind of mental, emotional, physical pain or experience that a mother goes through. It's very impossible to experience similar for a man. So maybe those kind of practices were developed for men in ancient times to be able to go through that. And that's what I believe. So it won't be wrong to say that maybe pregnancy is a kind of a crash course for the woman to turn herself into a yogi. So if a woman consciously includes yogic practices to her life, then this process of pregnancy, which is kind of a natural sadhana, can also become a conscious yogic sadhana. Through understanding the yogic wisdom, she can better understand the nature's way of working through her body and embrace the whole process with lots of gratitude and kindness for herself in her heart. So then comes the final stage, which is the last stage of a mother's crowning as well. When the child's head emerges from in between the two legs of the mother, and as it does, so a searing pain occurs to the mother's body, just like maybe a hot knife cutting through a butter. That is, I don't know if I have any better way to explain this. It's like sharp, really sharp. And this is the point when, in many cases, nurses also brings kind of a mirror to show the mom that the head has emerged. Or in many cases, they would just say, "You're crowning," and the child has emerged. I can see the head. Maybe dialogues like this happens in the delivery rooms. So that time, for a mother to see the new life emerging in all its glory before her, when she has that moment of crowning, when even that is a moment of highest pain that she's going through, just like I said, sharp pain, just that the glimpse or this listening to this one sentence, that crowning has occurred, I can see the head, this one dialogue by nurse, becomes a huge distraction for the mother, and her focus shifts spontaneously from that pain to the emerging life. And this is the beauty and the wonder of nature and how it works marvelously. And when the stage comes when she has the newborn in her arms for the first time, a mother feels an overwhelming sense of joy that surmounts all the pain that she just went through. She knows in this moment that it was worth going through every difficulty that she went through. And after giving the birth, there's something so amazing about seeing when your child takes its first breath, that you can't help but smile as tears would fall down onto your face. As a mother, I can tell that. So, coming back to comparing it from a yogic journey, if anything that compares with experiencing unity between oneself with divine, that is, we call it enlightenment or union or self-realization. There are many names for that experience for a yogi. If anything that compares with that experience, I would then say that that experience is exactly when a mother sees the baby for the first time. The sense of unity, the sense of oneness that appears within the being of a mother, that is no less than divine. Her sense of herself goes away. All that is there is the child, similar to that of a yogi. When what I have read about the experience of enlightenment is your sense of own personal self dissolves, and what is left is the love of the divine, is this unity only. So, the patience to wait, accept, and to flow with the process is what makes birthing an easy process. The spiritual baby, I will call it a spiritual baby if it's birthed and nurtured within consciously, takes time to evolve from this process. Similar to that of a yogi, it takes time. And for the child to go through this process and for the mother to go through this process, it is much similar to go through that process of inner self-realization, unity and oneness. So motherhood can be an intense journey, filled with painful and pleasurable moments, and Guru goes through similar cycle also when he or she tries to preach and mold his or her disciples for good. Being a mother is indeed a yogic sadhana, and if she walks in this path to consciously make it so, it provides precious gifts for her to cultivate that experiences that she had as a mother. Every virtue that she's gifted in her journey, whether that's love and compassion, that she gains through the pregnancy or the experience of childbirth, she can expand onto that and later use them in life to reach her own highest state of consciousness. That all the virtues that she collected as a mother for serving her child can bring her closer to ultimate divine union as well. So, ultimately, coming back to the purpose of this course. So in conclusion, I would say the purpose of this course is for you to recognize childbirth as a profound yogic sadhana. And at the same time, it also aims to instill in future mothers through you the very core understanding that pregnancy and childbirth are transformative opportunities to embrace discomfort and pain with grace, letting go of attachments and expectations, and embracing all the gifts of wisdom nuggets that one receives in this journey as their inner spiritual path or the yogic path that they continue to do so. They can use those gifts of wisdom and apply it to their greater good to reach to the higher self. And at the same time, this course also emphasizes for the mothers to gain immense amount of trust in oneself and the trust in the process of the divine force guiding their journey. I would say that this training is designed to teach you to honor and support expecting mothers as they embark on this sacred journey, encouraging them to connect with their deepest wisdom, tap into their strength and surrender to the transformative process. That is probably your goal, or the goal of this course through you. And by integrating yogic principles that I have included in this course, especially patience, self-discipline, conscious breathing, this will empower the mothers to navigate through intense physical, mental, and emotional pain that they go through. And you will have all those tools handy to guide them to go through this intensive process successfully. And ultimately, this self-transformative path, I would say, will equip mothers with courage, resilience, and conscious awareness necessary for a mindful and beautiful childbirth experience, aligning with the profound teaching of ancient yogic scriptures. You will give these to the mothers through yoga practices and conscious living practices that we have filled in this course. You can gift this understanding and perspective to childbirth to a mother that indeed it is, or it can be for them, a conscious yogic sadhana, and hence elevating the journey of motherhood to a higher spiritual plane. And I wish you all my best wishes for going through this journey and being the divine vessel, being a facilitator on